Are you curious about carnivore? Have you heard about it, but you don't really know much about it? Are you thinking about trying it, but want some ideas on how to go about it? I'm going to try to answer all those questions and more today on my tent talk, or in my tent talk. Hello everyone, my name is Christy, spelled with an E, and I've got Lucky with me as per usual. Yes, we all know you're here, Lucky. You are very important. Yes, you are. When I first started carnivore, I really didn't know much about it except that it was meat. And there are different ways to do carnivore. There's no set of instructions that says, if you want to be carnivore, you must do these certain things. Being a carnivore means that you eat mainly animal products, sometimes exclusively. And there are other terms thrown around like dirty carnivore, meaning they eat other things besides meat, eggs, and dairy. I assume that I would be put in that category because I can't give up my coffee. I do drink it black. Every now and then I might put a little bit of milk in there, but I found that putting dairy, especially in my coffee because I drink it all the time, tends to make me gain weight. So I've stuck to just black coffee. And that works fine for me. I do use some spices here and there, not a whole lot. I don't drench things in spices, but I will use those. And, you know, garlic is a vegetable, onion is a vegetable. And so garlic powder, onion powder, what those are is the dehydrated fruit or vegetable is then pulverized, and that is the powder. It is bits of whatever vegetable that is. Same thing with herbs. We all know that herbs, the little green things that you sprinkle in, those are plants too. So for someone who cannot handle certain things, because everybody is different, everybody's body is different. We all take different things in different ways. I cannot eat vegetables anymore. I have tried here and there, and they make me sick now, which is kind of disappointing, but I've gotten to the point where I don't mind anymore. I stick to just my meat for substance. I do use spices, like I said, so I'm not, I guess you could say I'm not fully 100% carnivore, even though I believe that I am because I eat meat, eggs, and dairy. And really that's it. Spices, I think that's just an arguable point that it really doesn't matter. What matters is how you feel and how your body reacts to things. If you have a reaction when you're using spices, if those are inflammatory for you, then stick to salt. But if they don't bother you, what's the harm? It's not like you're eating 25 bulbs of onion. You're having a little bit of onion flavoring in there. Now, I used to, when I made bone broth, I used to add in all the ends of the veggies and everything that I had in the freezer. And I don't do that anymore, mainly because I don't have any veggie ends sitting in the freezer anymore to put them in for flavoring. But I've noticed that I like my stock, or my body likes the stock if I leave those ingredients out. And so that is what I do. Now, if you're wanting to start carnivore, my advice is to start slowly. If you've been eating a carb-heavy diet, not even talking about sugars at the moment, but carbs and seed oils, I would first cut out all the seed oils that you can. I know it's hard because they're in absolutely everything. But if you can cut those out and slowly add meat into your diet and eat less and less vegetables until you can eliminate them completely, I think that would be much more beneficial and helpful Because when you are used to so much poison in your body and you take it out all at once, that's like if you're smoking and you quit cold turkey, or if you are taking illicit drugs and you, again, quit cold turkey, you are going to have impacts because your body doesn't have that stimulant anymore that it wants. And it's really hard to just take it all out and not put any back in and just be okay. That's why people get what they call the keto flu. I was lucky enough that I did not have any issues with that. When I started 2 years ago, I started with keto. I cut sugar completely out and ate as low carb as I possibly could, which meant I was eating a lot of meat and cheese at the time. That was my main diet for a while. There was meat and cheese and some other things thrown in there, blueberries and strawberries. But start slowly. Start cutting things out little by little and get your body ready to move into an all-meat diet. And I really hate calling it a diet because when people hear the word diet, they think about these fads, oh, I'm going to try the low-carb diet, or I'm going to try the banana diet, or the whatever it is. Carnivore and keto as well are not diets in that sense. They are a way of life. They are changing your life completely. And when you change your life, when you change your eating habits, you can't be bringing old things along with you. Like, for example, when I first started keto, and I'm Italian, I love pasta and bread. And those were two things that I was no longer eating. And everybody is like, oh, there's substitutes for it. You can still have pasta. It's just make it out of vegetables. And I do believe that that is a slippery slope. I'm not here to bash anybody, but don't try to eat the way that you ate before on the standard American diet now that you've decided to eat a different way. It has to be completely different. Yes, you'll be making different food choices and different foods that you will be eating all the time. I recently went through a bunch of my cookbooks and threw out about half of them. Well, I have them put aside to give to Goodwill because I don't like throwing things out when other people could be using them. I'm not going to use these cookbooks anymore. There was one on baking and one for pasta and one that was pies. And if I'm going to make a pie for my family at Christmas, I have my basic pie recipe that I would use. I don't need a cookbook with a million recipes for pies. I use just the one. I don't have a need for all of these recipes that I'm not going to be using, and I'm sure there's someone out there that would use them. And I'm not here to say that I'm better than anybody else because of the way that I eat, because I'm eating the way that I eat for my own health. And it's been fascinating to see the changes that have happened when I was on keto and eating that way. The weight started dropping off right away. When I cut out most carbs and sugars, I lost 40 pounds so quickly. It was the last 40 that was a little stubborn. I've done that in the past year. I've lost a little bit over 40 pounds this past year. And for the past 3 months, I've been carnivore. And I don't ever want to go back. I did a video last week about falling off the wagon and making a mistake and eating some bad foods. And the crazy thing about all of that is that you have to retrain your body again. Because I was not a snacker. I had been in the past, but I had gotten to the point where I did not need to snack. But when you give your body the carbs, then your body wants them all the time. It says, oh, give me more. Give me more. I like this stuff. And so I had to retrain my body again. And the way that I did that is with my jerky. I make jerky almost every single day. That is my snack. It's very good to have on hand for when my brain says, give me something. I want to put something in my mouth and I can grab a piece of jerky and not feel guilty about what I'm eating. And it's something that I've made myself. It's meat. It's really good. And one other thing, talking about, you know, eating and eating a lot of the same foods, is that I eat ground beef a lot. It's least expensive out of the meat selection. And I eat a burger every day. I know it sounds boring, but food isn't designed to be exciting. We as humans have designed it to be exciting because we have put so much emphasis on eating, when we need to remember that we are eating in order to stay alive, not we're alive to eat awesome foods. And that's one thing that, going back to I guess a prehistoric in some ways diet, going back to just using mainly salt, a few spices, and a little bit of pepper to season everything. It's not what people are used to. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that we have all of these different things that we eat, but we can learn to go back and eat simply. We don't need to have 25 different ways to make a steak. It's a steak. There's one good way to do it, and that's on the grill. You can fight me on that. That's the best way to eat a steak, is grilled over a flame. I won't budge from that position. I will die on that hill. That is the best way to eat a steak. There are some carnivores that don't eat dairy. There are some carnivores that eat a little bit of dairy. And there are some carnivores that have no issue with dairy at all. It just depends on how your body reacts. My body is not thrilled with dairy, so I don't eat a whole lot of it. I used to be a big cheese fiend, and I don't really eat that much cheese anymore. Hello, my name is Jim, Jungle Jim. Oh, I would lock him out of the room, but then he'd be on the other side of the door and just cry and cry. And that would be too painful. So, why must you chew on my face? Huh? Can you lay down like a good boy? Can we just lay down? There we go. If you guys do have any questions, please let me know. I would love to answer any questions that you have as best that I can. It's kind of hard since I'm basically a newbie at this, but I'm really enjoying the food and the way that I feel. I think that's the best thing, is that before I messed up, I had gotten to a point where I was not eating during the day besides my meals. I'd eat 2 meals a day. And I wasn't really snacking in between. And since I had that fudge, my body went back into snack mode. And I've been having to relearn or reteach myself that I don't need snacks. I am not, in fact, hungry. I just want something. Lucky your fur is all over me. I'm covered in it. Don't I brush you enough? I must need to brush you again. Do we need to brush you again tonight? I think we do. Yes. You're such a silly boy. Did I ever tell you how I got this guy? I was working as a secretary in South Carolina at a heating and air company. It was a little family-owned business. And I was at my desk. I was a secretary. And one of the guys in the back brought me this little shop rag bundle, and he had been found inside an old air conditioning unit drowning when they rescued him, and he was covered in oil and grease. I gave him a bath, wrapped him all up in a towel, called him a little burrito, and he was a feral kitten. You can't tell by looking at him. And I had 5 cats at the time. And they were like, well, you can take them home with you. You're the crazy cat lady. And I said, I've got 5 cats already. I really can't have another one. And one of the guys said, well, if you can keep them until Friday, until payday, and I can get, stuff for him, I'll take them. I said, okay, I'll keep them until Friday. Friday rolls around and I'm like, nope, sorry. Nope, he's mine. He decided to stay. Named him Lucky, and this is what happened. This is 6 years later. Yes. Yes, he loves people, especially if you don't like cats. If you don't like cats, somehow he will know, and he will be extra lovey-dovey towards you to where you just can't not like him anymore. He's very good at that. Yes, you are. He also thinks he's a dog. He'll eat anything. Freya, on the other hand, she is very, very picky. But this one, he thinks he's a dog. He don't care. He loves dogs. I had a Great Pyrenees for a little while who was, 5 times his size, ginormous puppy. And the two of them would play together. And it was so cute because Bjorn was so gentle with him because Lucky's about the size of his paw. But they were so cute the way they would play together, chase each other around the house, and he loved it. I know he misses Bjorn as much as I do, my poor little marshmallow, or big marshmallow. Yes. Well, I hope I've answered some questions for you, and like I said, if I have raised more, please don't hesitate to ask. I would love to try and help you along in your journey. If you have tips for me, I am completely open to that as well, because I'm not doing everything perfectly or the right way, perhaps, but I'm just trying as I go, learning as I go, trying to gain more knowledge on things and finding out what's good and what's bad. When I first heard that vegetables were bad for you, I thought that was the craziest thing I had ever heard. Everybody knows that vegetables are good for you. Well, they're not good for everybody. They're not good for me. But if you've watched this entire video, give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I'm absolutely thrilled that we're above 200 subscribers already. That's phenomenal. That's absolutely amazing. And it makes me feel so loved. So thank you all. And if you do like my videos, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Have a great weekend, everybody. Toodles.